We're going to have a good time with this video, and you as the audience will have a chance to get heavily involved. I think we're going to have some fun. Today we're going to be talking about 3 pieces of gear for me that I had to go out immediately and buy a second copy of because I never want to not have these things in my collection. So stick around and I'll tell you what they are. It's a beautiful fall morning here in Southern Virginia, and I want to thank you for taking time to watch this video. I hope you find this engaging and entertaining because I want to give you a chance to get involved in this video. I'm going to be talking about 3 pieces of gear that I had to have a second copy of. I bought these items, I used them for a little while, I immediately went out and bought a second copy because I just don't ever want to not have these particular things in my collection. We're also going to be talking about a number of things that might drive us to want to immediately get a second copy of something. But I want to know what your 3 things are in the comments. So as you watch this, I'd love to hear what 3 pieces of gear drove you to go out and buy a second copy. Before I tell you my 3 things, I want to tell you some of the things that might drive me to want to pick up a second copy of something immediately. The first thing for me would be the fear of discontinuation. You know, you find something that you love, you always have to have that fear in the back of your mind that a company could discontinue something. They do it all the time. I could point to several things I would buy right now, but I can't because they're discontinued. And sometimes you might find somebody selling one online, but they get the price jacked up so high because it's so rare. The second thing that might drive you to buy a duplicate copy of a piece of gear that you like is just the fear of not having it. Or, you know, it getting to the point to where it's just so wore out that it doesn't perform the same way and you not having that tool on hand. Another thing that might make you buy a duplicate is just you might find something that you love so much that you want that clean, pristine copy of it laying around just so you can continue to admire it. So we'll stick with those 3 reasons. That's at least the 3 that really come to mind when I think about gear that I want to immediately go out and buy that second copy of now. So let me show you my 3 pieces. These are in no particular order. It's just the 3 that I immediately went out and got me a duplicate of. And the first is my Browning Shock and Awe Tomahawk. My Browning Shock and Awe is something that I loved so much that it wasn't long that I was online ordering me a second copy because I know I'm going to beat this to death. I use it all the time. I love to throw it, and I just love it in general. It's one of those pieces of gear that I take such pride in. It's one of my signature items. I get behind this. Matter of fact, the Browning Shock and Awe Tomahawk was the one that put to rest all the buying that I was doing for so long when it come to tomahawks, you know, going out and shopping tactical tomahawks, full tang tomahawks. You know, if somebody sends me one to review, I will. But as far as my personal collection is concerned, I found everything I wanted in the Shock and Awe. And I will tell you why I bought a second copy especially is that I want their Shock and Awesome. It's their larger size. Guess what? I cannot find it anywhere. I'm looking for it all the time. I can't find it. I don't ever want that to happen to the Shock and Awe, so I bought 2. The official Tomahawk of 411 Outdoors. The next item on my list is a Mora companion. You know, the Mora companion is just my work knife. When I'm walking around the house and I'm having to do odd jobs and I want something that can give me a good clean cut, I'm walking around with my Mora companion. These are inexpensive. I bought one of these. I loved it so much I immediately had to go out and buy a second copy of it. I don't ever want to not have a Mora companion nearby. I got other knives that I do other tasks with, you know, sometimes heavier tasks. But one thing's for sure, I gotta always have a Mora companion. I don't use my self-defense knives in day-to-day cutting. My companion is a knife I can work with, and what I like so much about the companion is when I look at it and when I work with it, I don't have to think self-defense, I don't have to think combat, I can think work. The third and final thing on my list is a custom-made thrower. This is a spike made of 5160 steel. The maker's name is Wyatt Hines. Some of you who follow this channel, you know who I'm talking about. Some of you even recommended him to me. He makes these throwing spikes. Now, I've got this handle wrapped up with hockey tape because he puts this beautiful paracord wrap around the handle, which is what I like to use. I like to throw with the handle. That's my throwing style. I got this in the mail and I used it, and I immediately was talking to Wyatt about a second one. I was like, brother, I got to get a second one. And then he makes me a second one. And then I call him back a few months later. I'm like, go ahead and put a third one in for me. Why am I doing that? I don't ever want to not have this. This is pretty much the official thrower of 411 Outdoors. I know I like to throw a lot of fixed blades, trackers, different types of combat bushcraft blades, but this is my official thrower as it stands right now. There's nothing I can't do with this. Long distance half spin with ease. I can do no spin throwing like a bullet with this. This piece of gear, immediately I had to go get another one. And when I had it in my hand for the first time, I was like, there's no way I can have just one copy. There's a few honorable mentions out there, and these are things that I did buy more than once. I bought 2 Cold Steel Peacemaker 2s just because the price was so marked down. I probably wouldn't have bought a second copy of that, but the price at the time was like $19.99, so I was like, yeah, let's get 2 of these. I did buy 2 Gerber Strong Arms as well because I wanted the Coyote Brown and the black. And I did buy 2 S-Wing Sportsman axes because I had beat the first one up so bad I wanted to have a beautiful second copy. But the 3 things I showed you in this video were items that I definitely had to have that second copy. Now here's where the fun begins. What are your pieces of gear that you bought them, you're like, I'm going out and getting another one right now. There's no way I can't have this in my life. I gotta make sure I keep this in my life. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.